Remember the ad where the little girl went, "Daddy or chips, daddy or chips"? Well, I've been going, snow or short rows, snow or short rows. Which one would you choose? Hello, welcome back. Good to see you all again. Thanks very much for all your lovely comments on my last special video, Calm in the Countryside, and also Macintosh's new yarn, Calm. It was lovely to do. Some days you just need to get out, and I thought for a special video it would be nice to show you more of our local area, and just the idea that going out for a run or for a walk is something that I do to help sort of get through this challenging time. I know many of us are still in lockdown wherever you are, and you all do those things that you know help you get through it and deal with it. And going for a run or a walk for me is my thing that I do. And Helmingham was just wonderful. Those deer, aren't they just beautiful? They are literally roaming the estate, and it was lovely to go to see, and even more so in the last couple of days because we had lots of glorious snow, and I went for a walk and saw them in the snow. It was just beautiful, magical, kind of like Narnia, you know, that first scene when they go through and you see the snow and you just have that wonderful feeling. We had good 2 or 3 days worth of snow, and you'll see that coming up later, but I can already hear you going, "Ooh, Stuart, tell us more about what's that knit you're wearing." Well, this is it, The Claws in Effect by Josh Bennett. Isn't it a wonderful pattern and a wonderful jumper? This was the first ever knit I did when I left teaching in 2016 in the summer and started my shop in September 2016. Thought I've got to start to knit, and as you do on Instagram, you start building up people who you follow. I think Josh must have been about the 5th or 6th person who I followed right back then, and I found the pattern because it was on his feed, and it was like, oh, loved it. And what was so good about it was it's just simple stocking stitch, but every now and again you're doing a purl on the front, and then you just change the position of that purl, so you then get this wonderful chevron effect. Now you can probably see it is a bit baggy. Would you believe this was the smallest size, and it goes right up to extra large. So the smallest size, so if you're looking to knit this, I'm 6'4", and my chest is probably about a 40, 42, but I've still got, as I say, a lot of ease in there. Now bear in mind it was my first knit, so I might have gone a bit wrong, and maybe, you know, when you don't tick off all your increases, but I was chatting to Mandy and she said if you're going to knit it again, don't do any of the increases because it does go up like a funnel. So if I was to do it again, I wouldn't do the increases, but it was just a fun knit because it looks really complicated of where you've got to of the chevron effect, but actually all you're doing is you're knitting 5, then doing your purl, and then the next row you're knitting 6 and doing the purl, then the next row knitting 7 doing purl. So you don't have to count at all, you just put your purl one after, or when you're coming back, the one before. So actually once you get into the pattern, it's actually a very easy pattern to do. But I've washed this several times, and it's sort of survived the wash Well, I say several times. I knitted it in 2016, so that just goes to show you don't have to keep washing your knits all the time. I'm a firm believer of washing it once a season. Well, if I've done it only several times, 2016, that's probably once every 2 seasons. But it's a lovely knit. Anyway, let's go back to the snow, because I was talking to you about the snow. I went and had a lovely walk in the snow one day when we had the 3 days of full-on snow. Got all my gear on, and I want to show you my local church. You might have seen a glimmer of it in one of our first stay-at-home vlogs I did last year when I first started to run, and I came across the church. I've never seen the church before, and it is quite magnificent because it's small, tiny and Tudor looking. And in winter, it just looked stunning. So this is Crochet Church. Isn't it incredible? Especially that sort of the Tudor style side. It's unbelievable. And the little wooden tower bell. A beautiful day here. It's been snowing for the last 2 days in the UK, and I thought we'd come out and have a little walk. Snow or short rows, snow or short rows. Well, let's talk about short rows. So it was my first attempt at short rows. It's a fabulous pattern, great design, nothing wrong with it whatsoever from that point of view. My gripe really is with the writing, and I understand that in a magazine space is money, so they probably have to cut things out, fine-tune it, get it down to get it to fit on, what is that, in essence 1, 2, 3 pages. And my problem was this section here, short rows. Note, when working across wraps from previous short rows, work wrap together with wrapped stitch. Short row 1, straight in. And whilst I didn't have a problem with that instruction, I didn't know what a wrap and turn was, but we are blessed with YouTube, so I went to YouTube and had a look and found out how to do a wrap and turn. My problem is with what am I actually doing at that point. I didn't know what I was doing because I didn't know what a short row was. Do you know what a short row is? Well, I've done this tiny little sequence teaching what a short row is, because when you're knitting, I like to know actually what I'm doing. And normal knitting is great. You're knitting left and right, or backwards and forwards, or in the round, and you're just knitting. But this was an instruction that I just didn't understand. Now I know short rows are for adjusting the height, whereas making a stitch, left or right, is adjusting the width. A short row is to adjust the height. So take a look at this sequence for my experience into short rows and trying to explain to you what a short row is. The perfect example to show and to use a short row is on a jumper or a cardigan, because the neck level is lower than the back level. It's not a perfect circle. So we have to get the back level higher, the back of the cardigan or jumper, higher than the front. So we have to use short rows where we keep working the back more, going backwards and forwards, so it goes up higher and not working the front. That's what a short row is. Looks like a wedge, a piece of cheese from Trivial Pursuit. So you can actually see the short rows kick in there. So I then went round to the back and you can see the yellow, all that yellow there is the short rows. But on the front, we obviously only have, oh, what's the cat going balmy? Hardly any rows here because they just weren't worked. And we didn't want to work the front at all, did we? So this stayed as it was, didn't work that for ages because I kept coming round, turning back on myself and working the back. Now, it will all make sense when you see this little diagram. So with my cardigan, the short rows isn't happening at the top and the neck. The short rows are happening down here, just above the armholes. And that means we're going to have our extra fabric at the back put in here, and it doesn't matter, designers will choose where to put the short rows in. Basically we need the back longer and higher than the front, don't we? So it doesn't matter in essence where those short rows appear, whether it goes at the top or whether it goes in here. So let me try and draw it so you can see how the short rows are going to happen. Now I start here at my first marker at the front, and I'm going to do it in green because this is my first row. So we're going to go up as normal, working in the round as normal. That's our next round over the top. Green's running out. Coming round to our second marker, and we do 2 stitches, 1, 2. So we're 2. So we're already, that's the next row up. So it works quite well. There's your black as your first row, and your green is our now on our short row, and it tells us to wrap and turn. So we're going to go back on ourselves. Let's use red now. So we're not going to carry on here because we don't want extra, we don't want this to go up yet. So we're going to go back on ourselves. So we literally just turn and go back. Now this is our second row of short rows. So we're going back, so it's on top of the green. And then we come back to our first marker. And then it says on my pattern to knit 2 more past the mark, for the short row again. So we did 2, so now it's 4, so it comes down to there, back onto our original. So 2 more stitches working. Now we've got a wrap and turn again, so we'll go back. So we're going another one on top. There we are. 2, 4, 6 past. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. And then back last time. My instructions only ask for 8. Doing 8 times. So we then turn back. Gives you that wedge because you're picking up. Let's go to the needle, because each time you go past the wrap and turn, you're coming back to that front that is never worked. So that's how you end up get the wedge shape, and there's your extra fabric. So I've got that extra fabric on the back. So cat's going loopy. So the back now is however much higher, well, 8 rows higher than this front. So when that keeps going up, once I've worked the yoke and whatever decreases there are in that, I've then still got my back higher than my front. So if I hold, this is the body. There, look. So the body would have been level along that row of stitches, but I had to keep doing short rows. So you can see there's your little wedge appearing. Might even be able to see it. My short rows started 2 after this marker. So I've done 2, then I had to turn and do another 2, 4, 6 and 8. So when I hold the sleeve up, it then is then level, because that wedge is our extra amount of stitches, all from the short rows. So you're kind of making that wedge Trivial Pursuit cheese piece. So now it makes complete sense. But you know, it would have just helped if they had even a little bit of blurb, just so you know, because as I was reading that the first time, and it just said short rows, and it explained I'm doing a wrap and turn, I couldn't understand why I was doing it, how it was affecting the pattern. So it would have been nice to have a bit of blurb in there. But now I know. Hopefully you know that there are many YouTube videos that can do really good tutorials. Go and watch them. There's no point in me doing it. There are some fabulous ones that explain all the different types. Japanese short rows, German short rows, wrap and turn, which is the method I had done, yarn over method. You choose. It's a personal preference in the end. I think most of them don't show. You'd be very hard pushed to see it. So I suppose it all depends on what the designer says or what you prefer as well. So I hope that helps anyway to demystify. Easy when you know, isn't it? Just all makes sense. So now when I look at this, if I try and hold it up, now I know why. It's to get the back higher than the front. See if we can find the wedge. And there's the wedge. You can see where the stitches change down there. It would have carried on straight across, but our cheese wedge shape is there, and the back is now higher than the front. So when I keep going up in the round, eventually when I get to the neck, the back bit of the neck is going to be higher than the front bit, because we don't want to be choked up here, do we? So that's the purpose of a short row. And I think, could they have not just said that in a few words in the pattern? I don't know. Anyway, well, I've just lost lots of stitches. Right, while I pick these up, you take a look at this. Keep sending me your finished object pictures. You can either do it via email, which is info@thewoolpatch, or when you post them on Instagram, just hashtag us in, hashtag #thewoolpatch, and then we can find them. Many of you are still knitting, so I'm still buying, so we're having deliveries galore. Take a look at this. Rowan delivery there, yarn ready to sort there, stock cupboard. Oh my, look at the back room. Horrendous, isn't it? It's like the scene from Mary Poppins when the playroom is a complete mess. Box stuff there. Delivery today there. The table looks oh look, Mr. Hunk, that's top secret. What I would like now is to break out into song with every task you undertake. And I need birds to come along and help me put all the yarn away. Need a bit of magic, so I'm going to click my fingers and those birdies are going to come. Who's used one of these? A price gun. When I was in the shop as a kid with my Saturday job, I always wanted to use one of these. I mean, don't get me wrong, we are still at the forefront of technology and we are using barcodes and bleep, but customers need to know the price. Pull the trigger. Ka-chong. Brilliant. Right, £9. Let's put it out on there and fill up these shelves with wonderful yarn that you have all been buying. Hey, look at that. Oh, all done. Another new product to the shop is a crochet circle. Let me show you these. Made out of birchwood. They are circles for crochet baskets. And we've got them in 4 different sizes. Small, medium, large, medium, and then large. Fabulous. I think it's 30 centimetres, 27. Tamsin, what are you doing down there? And this is completely new to me. I've just been introduced to this. I have made plenty of crochet baskets out of the hooked yarn. And I know many people are doing them as well out of macrame yarn, 5mm cord rope that you can get, and actually macrame comes in different styles as well in the way it's been spun, but rope is one of the most popular ones. And you make your basket with your circle crochet and you do your increases and increases, and that's always the hardest part, isn't it? That base. You've always got to concentrate with your increases, and then you go into the back loop, and then once you've done your base you then start going up and round. Well, to make the base easier, you have these. You crochet into the circle. Oh, that's the boiler heating up. It must be getting cold. And then once you've done the base, you then have your wool and you go up and it's your basket. And I thought I would try it with the circles, but in the circle cell, we can get oblongs, rectangles, squares. You could do trays, oh, so many things. And we just trialled it with our logo on there as well. Good old Barbara. but they are, lovely. Local company that I know did these as well, so I didn't have to go miles away or abroad to get these. It's just literally 30 minutes down the road, yeah. So if you're a crocheter fan and you like making baskets and you hate doing that base, don't do the base. Get one of these, skip it, put your crochet around the circles, and boom, you're going straight up. So next on my list is to do a little demo and show you. So exciting times. Well, there we are. That's another episode done. Snow, short rows, all covered. You're all sorted now. Enjoyed it very much. Thank you for your company, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Bye-bye.